Dick Giroux here, and I have two wonderful guests. Russ, I'm sorry,
Warriner.
I'm getting senior moments here.
Russ Warriner.
Warriner and Joe Armstrong. I know Joe.
How you doing, Dick?
We met. You were with what now?
I was the president of Rolling Thunder
Right.
at the time we met.
That's
yeah.
it. I don't know why I'm getting blanks and. It's terrible.
You're not getting older; you're getting better.
Geez, I hope so. I'm trying anyway. Hey, I brought Russ. You brought all kinds of good stuff here. Let's go ahead and talk about your book. Russ wrote a book, and imagine it's your adventures in Vietnam.
Yes, it's a story of my tour in Vietnam. I spent a year and a half over there with the aerial rocket artillery, and that book, it tells some of my story, and it points out a little bit of why I ended up with post-traumatic stress disorder. It starts out from the time I decided to join the Army, and takes you through until I left there and ended up back here in the States.
You got photos. How did you get the photos in here?
Well,
you took the photos or
yes,
somebody else?
Yes.
You did?
Most of those photos are my personal photos. There are a few in there that were sent to me by various people over the years.
Okay.
I started a veterans group for those that served in my unit, and they have sent me many photos over the years.
And you're with, well, you said you called the Blue Max, and what do they call it now?
Yeah, when I started the group, I named it the Blue Max Aerial Rocket Artillery Association, simply because my unit was called the Blue Max, or the radio call sign was Blue Max, changed to that when I was in it, and there was an active duty unit that was called Blue Max, and I'm still connected to them today.
Can you explain what aerial rocket artillery is?
The aerial rocket artillery started out as an experimental unit. We had 48 rockets on a Huey, 24 on each side. They're 2.75 rockets. They fired 10-pounders, 7-pounders, flechettes, which were...
What did they use them for mainly, you know?
We used them, my unit was used in place of conventional artillery because we could get down closer to the friendlies without injuring the friendlies, whereas with tube artillery you've got a plus and minus factor that the round could end up hitting somebody.
Too close.
And we found out that the enemy loved to snuggle up close to the friendlies, and so therefore the tube artillery could not hit them.
Could your rockets do anything to the tunnels? They used to have the underground tunnels.
If we got one to actually go into a tunnel, yeah, we could destroy it. We had, when I was there, a wire-guided missile, which was called a SS-11, and had like 4 wires come out of the back of the missile, and the pilot literally could guide it with a stick if one of the wires didn't break. And
that's amazing, though.
If they could get that to go into that tunnel or cave, they got some good reactions out of that.
Okay. And Joe, how do you get involved? You're the president?
I'm the president of Vietnam Veterans America, Chapter 1044 in Sanford, yes.
And now, you were with
Rolling Thunder.
Rolling Thunder.
Right.
And you were president of that.
I was president of that.
Now you left that to someone else.
Yes, I did.
And you're moving in with Vietnam Veterans of America.
Yes.
So I take it that's all over the country?
Vietnam Veterans of America is actually nationwide. We do have a chapter in the Philippines.
Really?
Yes.
That's
and we
interesting.
have chapters in Canada as well.
Canada too?
Yes.
That is worldwide then, huh?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. And what made you leave and come to this?
Excuse me. Rolling Thunder was more POW MIA oriented, and Vietnam Veterans of America is more widespread with as far as not interest, but programs that they offer. They cover anything from POW MIA to women veterans, incarcerated veterans, governmental affairs. There's probably 30 different programs that are available if a veteran is interested in working with it.
So in other words, you work with them if they need help in
Right.
getting...
We formed committees within our chapter.
Yeah.
If a veteran is in need of help, whether it's just a matter of a phone call to talk, or if they have financial needs, if we have it within our means, we will help them financially. Originally starting out, it was for Vietnam veterans and their families exclusively. Over the years, we realized that we cannot be that selective. We have opened it up to veterans and their families of veterans from Iraq and Afghanistan today.
Oh, my gosh. So that's interesting. And in that time frame of Vietnam, I get the feeling that you accept people who went to Korea in the Cold War.
Yes,
besides.
our membership is open. We have two membership. We have membership for people that were in country, boots on the ground, if you will, and we have membership for anybody that served anywhere from actually the dates of 1962 to 1975. So we cover Vietnam era and in-country veterans as well. So that includes veterans that are coming home today. We have an organization called the Associates of Vietnam Veterans, which is like the auxiliary for the VFW and AMVET. Whereas they don't qualify under those particular dates, they are eligible to join our associate member as an associate member.
You have okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's interesting. How's the book going? What's the story on your book? Have you been promoting it?
I've been promoting, and I've been going around and trying to set up guest speaker engagements and going to various veterans groups when they're having their meeting, whatever, and just letting them know that the book is out there.
Yeah.
And
you're going to write another one?
I've already started the other one. I got 7 chapters in my second book going right now.
Can you expand any of what this is about, what this book here is about?
Well, when I started the book, I was writing down information to give to my children. And over the years, during the time that I was running the veterans group, eventually they kept nagging me, why don't you write a book, why don't you write a book? And then I discovered that if I wrote this book, I could possibly help others as well as help myself, because my writing was helping me deal with my PTSD. I've been writing in the First Cav newspaper for, I don't know, since 1994. And so the book takes you from the time that I decided to enter into the service, through basic training and into Vietnam, and some of the things that happened to me during my tour or happened around me during my tour. I tried not to get too deep into things and get what I call bloody guts and gore and stuff. Try to stay away from that, but let you know that those things happened without getting too detailed with it. If I can't read a book that's too bloody, I don't expect somebody else to read it. Yeah. But yet it points out enough of the stuff so you can understand. There are pictures in there of things like a tiger, and the story about how this tiger ended up being shot and put on display, if you may, near my tent. There's pictures in there of a 155 round that came through the roof of the officer's bunker and killing one of our officers who had just entered into our
Just
unit.
got there?
He just got there. He was brand new. He had only been there for a couple days, and I talk about aircraft that we lost, like in the 4th of February of '68. We lost an aircraft with 4 men on board.
Now, you were a door
So
gunner?
forth. Yes, I was a door gunner and crew chief. And a lot of Hueys flew with a 4-man crew. My unit, as a general rule, flew with 3-man crew. We could have a door gunner on the right side, but as a general rule, we didn't carry it because of the rockets. We carried so much weight that we didn't carry that extra gunner.
So if you're going to shoot with a gunner, yeah, it's just the left side you have to turn to. Is that how that went?
Yeah. See, when we get on station and to fire for the friendlies, the pilots, of course, are in charge of firing the rockets. And they would put the aircraft into a dive.
Correct.
And start shooting the rockets to hit the target.
Right.
When they started to pull out, that's a dangerous time for that aircraft.
Okay. That's when you...
And that's when my job was to put down suppressive M60
Right.
machine
cover.
gun fire to cover that
Yeah.
as we were pulling out.
Yeah.
And we'd have a wing aircraft, and the crew chief on board that one had the same job of protecting us while we were in there.
What kind of aircraft was the wing aircraft?
It was also a
Another Huey?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We had a pair of them that
Oh.
would go. We had 3 minutes to get off the ground if we were called on a fire mission.
And you went in pairs?
And we went in pairs.
Well, that I didn't know. That's interesting.
Yeah. So we'd go into the dive.
Yeah.
And then as we swung around, the reason we didn't carry another reason we didn't carry a gunner on the other side of the aircraft is when we pulled out of the run, if they banked to the left, that guy's going to be shooting the sky. It isn't going to do any good.
Yeah, yeah.
So if we went to a spot where the pilot said we're going to brake to the right this time instead of left,
Okay.
I would unbuckle,
Yeah.
put my 60 back in position, slide across to the other side of the aircraft, load my M60 on that side, and buckle up.
Oh, you had one on the
Plug-
other side?
I was responsible for 2 M60 machine guns, and
All by yourself?
all by myself, plus my personal weapon. And so I would unbuckle, slide across to the other side, and set myself up, and just let my pilots know I was ready while we were in
Did
flight.
you have canisters that you fed through?
Some of the guys did what they call freehand, and they'd have a big box on the floor,
Yeah.
and they'd put the belt of ammunition up
Yeah.
into it. I used what we called an assault can. Well, the M60 machine, the rounds for the M60 came in 100-round belts,
Right.
and there was 2 belts in a can, in a
And
ammo
canister?
can.
Yeah.
Well, what an assault can is we take that ammo can and we make a plate on the end of it that would clip on the side of the M60. And then we take the boxes that are in there of the belts, link them together, if we had time, we'd put what we call 100-mile-an-hour tape around them to hold the boxes together so they'd be easier to pick up. And they would be sitting on the floor. And as soon as we'd fire out that 200 rounds, reach down, pick up another 200 and put it back in there. I elected to do it that way because the less chance of jamming the 60 when you start swinging your around trying to fire it in back of the aircraft or underneath the aircraft or whatever. And so it was an experience.
That is an experience.
And the door gunner, if the door gunner was there, or I was firing as a door gunner, it was harder to fire from the right-hand side of the aircraft for a right-handed person such as myself. Because
Okay.
on the left side,
Yeah.
you're firing across like this, and you're leading your target where you're trying to hit. By the time you get to there, it's going to hit. You get on the other side, you got to literally turn yourself around sideways
Yeah.
to fire that. Plus, you had to be careful on the right-hand side because the empty cartridges would be spitting out, and if you didn't aim them down, they'd go out the door, go back and get in the tail rotor, punch holes in your tail rotor.
Oh my gosh.
And you could that literally
That happened?
make yourself go down, and
Yeah, have you had that happen?
I never had it happen.
No.
I never hit my
Lucky.
tail rotor. I was one of the lucky ones.
I guess.
Yeah.
And there's a pilot and co-pilot, right?
There's a pilot and a co-pilot. The pilot that was on the left-hand side was usually the aircraft commander.
Okay.
He was in charge of the mission, and he was dead in front of me.
Uh-huh.
And then we had what we call a Peter pilot, who's on the other side. And they'd work together. And they had a sight on the Peter pilot side for aiming the rockets, but we almost never used them. We learned to use a grease pencil mark on. They put a grease pencil mark on the windshield, and when they fire the first pair of rockets, they'd see what direction they're going. Are they going where they want them to go? All right, tip it a little bit more, or bring it back a little bit, whatever, and they would guide on that grease pencil mark they put on the windshield.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing, yeah?
Yeah.
Jeez.
I had some very good pilots.
When did you leave there?
I went over in November of '67, and I came home in June of '69.
Wow.
Spent a year and a half over
Yeah.
there.
I thought it was only 6 months at a time in the war area, war zone.
No, it was
No?
a year, and if you put an extension in, got foolish like I did and put an extension in, I don't know. I guess I got an adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
The fact that we had lost aircraft crews from.
And you
I
knew
got there in November,
and you knew these people.
yes, we lost a crew of 4 in December, right after I was wounded.
Yeah.
And then in February, we lost a crew of 4, and one of them became our first POW in the unit. And years later, I found him out in California. And that could be tend to be very emotional to me to talk about these guys because I was so close to them. I was actually supposed to have been out on that mission that aircraft went down, but my aircraft went into maintenance, and so they switched me out with somebody else.
Where do you come in, Joe, besides being president?
I don't understand. What do you mean, where do I come in?
What do you do mainly as president of the organization?
Well, I'm responsible for the overall running of the chapter. Basically, I'm the CEO, if you will.
And Russ helps
Russ
you
is,
out?
yeah, Russ is the chairman of our membership committee.
Okay.
And I'm also on the Agent Orange committee with Joe. Joe heads that one up because that's really close to both of our hearts.
So now that the Silver Rose is no longer in existence,
Right.
which is sad.
It is. That was a great organization,
No,
great cause.
I just don't understand it. So now you gentlemen can help out your organization.
We, our chapter has partnered up with the state of Maine, Maine Veteran Services. The state of Maine issues a medal called the Gold Star Medal, and that's issued to family members of Vietnam veterans that were killed in action. We partnered up, we're trying to find the family members in the York County area so that we can make sure that they receive the medal and the recognition that they so richly deserve. So if any of the audience knows of a Vietnam veteran that was killed in action, if they know the direct family address or location, please give me a call and we can get the ball rolling.
Well, we have the application here, and we have all about the organization pamphlet. Anybody who's interested, I suppose they could contact me.
Please, that would
My
be great,
phone
and you
number,
can
and,
contact us, yes.
I know how to get a hold of you.
Yeah.
Hold of you.
Our motto, Vietnam Veterans of America's motto is never again will a generation of veterans abandon another. And we hold steadfast to that. We will not let our troops coming home today go through what we went through during the Vietnam War.
What happened when you, well, first you, Joe, what happened to you when, did you get an effect of the war when you got back in the States? Did you?
Well, to be honest with
Personally,
you, when I was in country, I thought I was doing right, God and country, defending America. I came back. We landed in Oakland at 3 o'clock in the morning. We were met with a less than a welcoming committee. That's all I'll say. I know it's a cliche, but we were spit on. We had eggs thrown at us. They rushed us from the plane to the hangar area. They gave us a steak dinner, told us not to wear our uniforms, to wear civilian clothes. A lot of us wore our uniforms. They gave us brand new uniforms. But it was an eye-opening experience, realizing that the country hated us so much. And all we were doing is what our government asked us to do.
How about you, Russ? Did you go through the same situation?
I kind of went through the same thing. When I came home, I was met basically the same way, got spit on, called names, and was told not to wear my uniform going home. But you have to keep in mind, I came home during the cold weather, and here I am with a very obvious tan, a military haircut, and I'm carrying a military duffel bag. I mean, it's pretty obvious where I've been.
Yeah.
And so what good is it going to be to not wear your uniform, you know?
Did you both come right into Maine after from?
Well, I'm originally from Massachusetts.
Oh,
so,
you went, was
so I flew from Oakland to Boston.
Boston.
Yeah.
And
I'm originally from Massachusetts.
you
as
too?
well. Yeah. I'm from
Another transplant.
I'm from Western Mass.
Okay.
Flatlanders.
I went into Oakland one time, and went out of Oakland one time.
Yeah.
But I went into Fort Lewis, Washington. I came home midstream of my Vietnam tour and went back, and then I went through Fort Lewis, Washington again when I went to Korea.
Oh, that's right. You went out. You went to Korea after that.
Yeah.
Was it a little milder compared to?
It reminded me a lot of Vietnam when I got there, and that's in my
Did you fly?
story of my.
Were you
my
on
book.
with UEs in Korea too?
Halfway through a little over halfway through my tour in Vietnam, my unit transitioned to Cobras.
Oh.
And I ended up getting a Cobra MOS and became a Cobra crew chief for a short time, and I didn't like that. You know, standing on the ground, refueling the aircraft, rearming it, and then standing there and getting dust and dirt blown all over you, and you're supposed to direct them out of the revetment and everything. That wasn't my cup of tea.
That was quite a chopper.
So
I've seen that.
I went into maintenance, and then because of the hours that they were flying, the pilots were switching off, and they were getting rest in between. And the crew chiefs, if you crewed an aircraft, you were busy day in and day out, and no rest. So I suggested that they have night crew chiefs, and I became a night crew chief for a while. And that was great because I got to fly in the front seat of the Cobra.
Oh,
Yeah.
that Cobra is something else. I think I was exposed to it in Germany. Two of them were going over a lake. It was a resort area where we used to go to. It used to be Hitler's resort area. And I didn't hear a thing. But you know when you feel something's coming? I turned around, and there they were right in front of me. They were landing in the parking lot. Unbelievable. I never heard them.
Yeah.
Never heard a thing.
You know, if I may, Dick.
Yes, please, Joe.
Russ is being very modest.
Okay.
Gentlemen like him and his crews saved a lot of lives in Vietnam. I can't tell you how many times I was an infantryman, carried a machine gun, I was a grunt. Can't tell you how many times I listened and heard the whop, whop, whop of the helicopters coming in. And it was these guys coming into an area where hostile fire was intense, and they didn't give up. They did their job. And conventional artillery, you can call in what they call danger close. but you're going to lose a lot of your men, and you know that's the name of the game. But these guys could pinpoint where they wanted to go, and they deserve a lot of credit. They're definitely an asset to us.
Wonderful. Thank you, Russ.
Yep.
You did.
Well,
And you
you're
too,
entirely
Joe.
welcome.
Oh, thank you.
For both of you, what you went through.
In an aircraft, there's what they a danger zone, and you're up at 2,000 feet. You're pretty safe. Down on the deck, you're going along fast enough. You're fairly safe. It's pretty hard for them hit because by the time they draw a bead on you, you're gone.
You've already gone by.
You're gone
Sure.
by. But in between, when that's in that rocket run, or they're down at 1,000 feet or 800 feet or whatever.
Yeah. You get. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you did it.
Yeah.
You're back.
And they
You're
did it
telling
well.
the story.
They did it well.
Yeah. And you did it too. You were on the ground.
Well, I did my job. That's all I can
did.
say. Did my job.
You know.
Could I interject?
Go ahead, please, Joe.
Vietnam Veterans of America is looking for female veterans.
So am I.
I don't think it's the
I'm
same
talking about
reason.
for my post.
Oh, okay.
Watching.
As far as I'm concerned personally,
Yeah.
the female veterans are the most underappreciated veterans that we have. When people say, oh, they're a Vietnam veteran, immediately it conjures up a vision of a male. What they don't understand is the women, the nurses, the doctors, the corpsmen, the secretaries, any position, were exposed to danger just as well as we were. And unfortunately, the VA and society kind of overlooks them. It's our goal and VBA to get in touch with these female veterans.
I'm trying to
Bring
find them
in.
myself.
Yeah, if anybody knows a female veteran, please contact us.
Okay. Contact me too.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
It's true. We've had one I didn't know all that time. I just took over post commander in Orchard.
Oh, okay.
And
Of the VFW or the
VFW. Bob Pettingill was 26 years commander of that post.
Wow.
And he asked me if I'd take it over. And it was voted upon. Everybody wanted me to take over. And it happened last summer.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I enjoy it. And I'm trying to do some good things too, but I don't want to talk about me here. But yeah, I'm very concerned. Veterans is veterans. We need to take care of each other.
That's right. There's no I in team.
That's right. And anytime you want to talk to me on the side or anything, I'm available. You know.
It would be nice if we could, the two of us as the Agent Orange team could come in and talk to members of your post sometime.
That's an idea.
Any other post that's out there. I'm putting
That's
this
fine
out
with
there
me.
because I believe that the Agent Orange is a big issue that we need to address. I'm a cancer survivor from
Agent Orange?
prostate cancer, which is a presumable cancer
Right.
of
From
Agent Orange.
Yeah.
I've lost friends who I know beyond a shadow of a doubt died from the effects of Agent Orange.
We're losing 300 to 350 veterans a day from exposure to Agent Orange
There's
dioxin.
even a number.
300 to 3, and this is an estimate. This is a guesstimate
Now I heard that we're losing World War II veterans
at an
minute
astronomical.
of the day.
That's right. It's estimated that the Vietnam veterans will no longer be here after 15 years. That's scary.
Yeah.
But what's even scarier is we have women whose husbands have died from complications from Agent Orange dioxin that in many cases are eligible for compensation and they don't even know it. And it's our job, or one of our goals, to get out there and educate the public and get these people the benefits that they so richly deserve. If I could say one thing to the veterans today, file for your disability. The VA is not giving you a thing. You earned everything that you can get. And a lot of times the veteran gets very frustrated because the VA works very slow.
It does. I'm still waiting.
They cannot get frustrated. They have to stay with it. And,
I've
you
been
know,
waiting since last February last year.
Yep.
I'm still waiting.
Yep. You know, there's right now there's 63 illnesses and diseases that the VA will pay compensation for. A lot of VA counselors and service people will tell you that that's wrong. There's only 11, and they're correct. There are 11 primary illnesses, cancers, and sicknesses that they'll pay for, but the rest of them are secondary causes. Like diabetes too is a presumptive. It's one of the most prevalent ones right now. Out of that, you got neuropathy, and there's several others that are secondary illnesses that the veterans need to get in and be checked for.
Birth defects.
Birth defects, yeah. Unfortunately, right now, the only one that the government recognizes is spina bifida in children. Birth
children?
defect, yes. That's the only one the VA will recognize now.
It affects their spine?
Yes. You know, but the VA, and I don't understand their reasoning on this, but I tried. But they have awarded 18 new illnesses to females that served in Vietnam, disabilities for children, 18 new ones. But that's not because of Agent Orange. It's because they served in Vietnam. Well, if you served in Vietnam for 1 minute, you were exposed to Agent Orange.
Absolutely.
And that holds true for what we call our Blue Water Navy brothers and sisters. Although they were out in the ocean, the VA is saying...
Even out in the ocean?
Well, think about it,
I'm thinking
Rich.
about the rivers, you know.
Well, think about it. When they spray that stuff, what happens? The air takes it and carries it.
Wind.
Exactly. The VA has just now approved 11 destroyers that were in the river that now qualify for compensation, even though they didn't step foot in the ground.
But they were in the area.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's a step in the right direction. The VA is starting to come around. But
think about how those barrels got there.
Exactly.
How did they get in country for us for them to spray?
Yep.
They came in barrels.
That's right.
The people that handled them, right here in the United States.
Yep. There's over 50 bases in the United States.
Now you guys just told me they hit Korea when I was there.
On the DMZ, yes.
know.
Yep.
There's 4 divisions that were exposed to Agent Orange between 68 and 70, or 67, 69. I'm not really quite sure, but
70.
there's a time
I think
frame
it's
there.
68, 70.
Yeah.
I just started to find out about this last year. I never knew anything about it.
It's a, you know, and it's important to
As
understand.
far as where I was.
Agent Orange is not the only defoliant used. There was 15 different defoliants. Agent Orange is just the most popular one that they use. Over 22.5 million gallons of Agent Orange was sprayed in Vietnam, countrywide.
Agent Orange, Agent Blue, Agent White,
Purple, green.
Super Orange.
Yep.
I don't understand that, you know. I mean, right, they get rid of it. It kills vegetation.
Yep. And it did.
You know.
It did.
But if you're going to spray it, don't you know that you're going to get your own people?
Well, it's funny because the Air Force come out with a pamphlet explaining to their airmen and women what to do if you spilt it on you. And they said, it's nothing to worry about. Just rinse it off, soap and water, you're fine. Now, I've got documentation to prove that. People don't believe it, but I got the actual pamphlet.
So when did they find out it wasn't fine? Was it a few years later?
Shortly after the Vietnam War. Actually, let me correct that. I think they knew all along, but I can't prove it.
I believe they knew all
I think they knew all along, but it's like Fort Detrick, Maryland, has just become on the list of bases that they're looking at because the increase in cancer is so prevalent down there now. Agent Orange was used down there. The Marine Corps base, the water's contaminated. Now, whether it's from Agent Orange or not.
I remember hearing something of that.
Veterans are eligible for compensation if they served down at Camp Lejeune.
That's where it was.
Yes, if they lived in government quarters or anything, they're eligible for compensation. And these are all things that the veterans need to contact us. There is no silly question.
Absolutely. I believe that.
The only silly question is the one that's not asked.
You're going to get your answer if you ask.
The big thing is, if you served, you know, check into this.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Ask the questions. Was I in the area?
Yep.
If you come down with prostate cancer
Who do they
or
ask? You guys?
Skin cancer,
Can ask us,
whatever,
yes.
contact us. And we'll do what we need to do.
And if we don't have the answer, we will find it for you.
Can they get it from the VA? Would they give them the answer?
Yes, they can go www.va.gov.
website,
va.gov or something like that.
Yes, it is.
But all the information's there.
The Vietnam Veterans of America's website has a beautiful layout of the diseases from Agent Orange.
Okay.
And that's www.va.org, vva.org.
And now these women that can have babies, what are they going to end up with?
Exactly.
And they have no idea how far down
Right.
the chain,
The DNA.
the DNA, the Agent Orange changes your DNA.
Yep.
They've discovered it changes your DNA.
How does it, I mean, in which way?
Causes disabilities. It just rearranges everything. Anything from a cleft lip to a malformed hand, a malformed leg,
legs and, yeah.
speech problems. There's just so many of them. I have a documentary that I show. I choose not to show it because it's too graphic, of children in Vietnam.
Well, you know, they talk about graphic. I think once in a while you have to show something.
Yeah.
Shock the people into
Yep.
understanding.
Well, they'll remember, won't they?
Yes. Oh, yes.
If
they
you
will.
if you go to any other country, they show it. Period.
Yep.
I mean, when I was in Germany,
Excuse me.
you go on their station, they don't hide anything.
No.
They show how it is right there.
Back in the, I want to say back in the 90s, the History Channel came out with a documentary, and that may be the one that Joe has, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's called After the Fire. And they show the aircraft spraying the Agent Orange. They show the effects
Really?
of it.
Yeah.
You
They
have
show,
that?
They show what the Vietnamese people have to do. They've discovered a plant that helps take care of some of the dioxin that's in the ground. It's still in the ground today. It hasn't completely gone.
There's bases in the United States
Well, they
where
can't wash it away, can
No.
they?
No.
Or the rain can't wash it away,
no.
can it?
Nope.
No.
Because you say when it rains, it's cleaning up the earth, but how much can it clean?
Well, when we were in
Down so
country,
deep.
when we were in country, when they sprayed, we were told that was insect repellent, that they were trying to cut down on the mosquitoes. We would go out and grab a bunch of leaves and rub it on us, thinking that this was insect repellent.
Oh my
And
gosh.
actually, it was dioxins. But on the up note, if I may,
Yes, please.
our chapter has several programs that we're going to travel around the state doing. The first one that we're really working on now is for our World War II veterans. We have been privileged to have a copy of the original World War II dedication, memorial dedication. What we want to do is we want to get contact with the veterans organizations and allow us to come in and show this to our World War II, or actually to anybody that wants to see it, of the actual World War II dedication, because we feel that a lot of World War II veterans were not able to travel to Washington, and this will probably be the only time they'll ever see it. We also have, going on the Agent Orange thing, we have a documentary that we show called Agent Orange, The Last Battle. Basically, it's a documentary of 2 Vietnam veterans that explain what they went through, how they feel they contacted Agent Orange. They interview the families, see what the families went through. Unfortunately, one of the gentlemen, when he's a good old boy from down south, he used to always chew a piece of wood or something. He'd come into an open area where the vegetation is totally clear, the bark is gone, and he used to think, well, this is great because now I don't have to cut the bark off, and he'd pop it in his mouth and he'd chew on it. Well, now he's getting all the Agent Orange.
Yeah, right.
Unfortunately, he died shortly after the filming. The third thing we have is for our Korean veterans. We have a documentary of Bob Dumas, who's a Sanford boy. He's trying to locate his brother, who was captured as a POW. They have documentation showing that he was captured, showing him and talking to veterans or former POWs that were with him. The government says he was never a POW. That's another program that we offer. And this is all stuff that we're going to be traveling around the state. And
You're going to be busy.
we're going to be busy, but it's something that we need to do. We need to get our brothers and sisters educated. And not only that, the general populace, if you will.
Now, will you get funds?
We're not asking for no funds.
or
We're
anything
doing this
any-
free of charge. If somebody would like to make a donation, they can send it to Vietnam Veterans of America, Post Office Box 844, Sanford, Maine 04073.
Would you repeat it again, please?
Yes, it's Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 1044, P.O. Box 844, Sanford, Maine 04073.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you both. All right, we're going to see if people get interested in your book. Are you doing any public going to libraries or?
I would love to go to libraries and stuff. I'm trying to get the word out.
How about the what's that place? The book place in the mall.
Borders?
Yeah. I wonder if you could go.
I could go to Borders. I checked into that once already.
You did?
One of the problems with that is I have to go to Borders, get their permission,
Yeah.
and wait for a time frame that they'll give it to me. And then I have to pay for the books up front, sit there, they collect the money for the books, and then I gotta wait to get my portion of the money back after they sold the book. And then I sign the book.
Is it worth it?
To me, it's not worth it. Yeah. I would rather go to the public libraries around here, go to the schools and talk to the kids or whatever. If anybody wants a copy of my book, they can go to www.russellwarriner.com, and there's an order form on my website. That's my personal website.
It's an excellent book.
And how about this? You showing me the saber, the first calf.
I said I've been writing in that since 1994 when I started writing in that. And I've been writing about just about my unit and the people that have contacted me and put in various things.
Cav?
Yes, I was. My unit was first Cav.
Yeah, it would be a Cav being a Huey. Yeah.
When I went into Vietnam, we were in 2 Corps. We moved north to I Corps, and then we moved to 3 Corps before I left. So I was spread from the East Coast to the West Coast, from the DMZ to the rubber plantations of the South.
Sounds like a song.
Yeah. We bailed the Marines out up at Quezon. Went in and shot for them to bail them out.
Do we have anything else that maybe we didn't mention yet? Can you tell me?
I'd just like to say welcome home to our brothers and sisters from all wars, not just Vietnam. Get out and get your applications in there for your benefits. Like I said, the VA is not giving you a thing. You earned everything you're going to get. You have any questions, you run up against any opposition with the VA, contact us. I'm a certified veteran service officer. If I don't have the answer, if Russ doesn't have the answer, I guarantee we'll get an answer one way or the other.
Absolutely.
I second that about welcome home, about the welcome home.
Yeah. Yes,
please.
please.
That's very important. I mean, we didn't get the welcome home when we came home, so.
Yeah.
Don't be shy. Go up and thank them.
Yep. 2 words that mean a lot that cost so little is welcome home.
That too. That's if you know a Vietnam veteran.
Or a veteran from
any
all
veteran.
era.
Or any veteran.
Any veteran.
Yep. 2 little words.
Step up to
Think
them
about
and thank them.
These men when they were young men and they came back.
Were we young once?
Oh yeah, you were. Everybody was young once. I can't remember.
I was going to say, I can't remember either.
Yeah. But please go up to them, say hello anyway.
Exactly.
You know? And I think it means a lot too. It's happened to me a couple times, and I didn't know how to react.
Well, it's happening more and more today, and I'm glad to see it. People coming up and saying, thank you for your service, especially when you find out if you're a Vietnam veteran. It was way too long coming.
And it's hard, isn't it?
It is.
When somebody does that.
You don't, well, personally,
how quick do you react to it?
Exactly.
You think about it a little, don't you?
You do. Yeah. I personally, like I say, I don't know whether to say thank you,
right,
or say, why didn't you say this 40 years ago? You know?
But you can't say that because you never saw the person before.
Nope.
This is somebody else.
But it's important to remember, it's
Long
because,
time coming.
exactly, it's because of what we went through as Vietnam veterans.
Sure.
That I feel the troops are not going through the same thing today, and that's fantastic. We will never let a veteran go through what we went through again.
No.
We must support our troops of today, too.
Yeah,
Think
exactly.
about I'm in contact with a unit that's now out of Fort Drum. That's been activated again. They've been one of the most activated Apache units in the U.S. Army. They come home, they're home for a year or less, boom, they're back over in Iraq, Afghanistan, Bosnia, or wherever.
For the non-veterans, ladies and gentlemen, an Apache unit is a helicopter unit.
Yeah, it's not the Indians.
Not the. So that's what he's talking about. Well, I want to thank you both for coming. Unless you have something else.
Thank you, Richard.
You think we talked about your book okay?
I think so. I think people are going to enjoy my book. Everybody that's
right here.
That's got a copy of it has told me that they enjoyed it thoroughly.
And in the back, you can see when he was young. And the present, the past and the present.
They enjoy that. They're going to enjoy my second book, which explains how I ended up with post-traumatic stress a little bit. Gives a little bit of what happened, not only to me, but to others that were around me. My second book follows up after that and will take you through my life, my road that I traveled with post-traumatic stress and how I learned to deal with it and live with it. And I hope to point out some of the avenues that others took with their post-traumatic stress and learning to deal with it.
I wish I had that when my father was around. He had it. He was a World War II vet.
Yep.
And he went in the Pacific.
Well, I think they called it shell shock or battle fatigue or something.
Nothing then. Didn't call anything then. They didn't even recognize anything that he had.
An important thing to remember too was, yes, we the veterans suffered PTSD, but our wives and our family members suffered PTSD.
Absolutely.
You are so correct,
Because they're the ones
Joe,
waiting
so
at home
direct.
and wondering.
And unfortunately, we have a tendency to forget about that the family members are suffering just as well as we are.
That is also going to be in my book.
Yep.
Because that's an unknown to them.
Exactly. Exactly.
I can understand that.
And the troops coming home today, they're confused. They don't know what's going on. What they're going through today is unprecedented. 4 or 5 tours at a time. That's amazing.
I don't
know how they do it mentally.
I don't either.
You know, God bless every one of them.
Yeah.
You know, they are to me the best of the best.
That
Keep
Apache
going
unit,
back and coming back.
Exactly.
that Apache unit's been activated 8 times, I think, so far.
I can understand that. You know,
Yep.
No, it's amazing.
the down frame as far as they taken all these units and disbanded and stopped a lot of, you know, at one time. And all of a sudden, we don't have as many anymore.
Exactly.
So now you got to come and get the neighbor
Yep.
to go out. You know, I just have a hard time accepting that.
I don't understand it either.
You know, I don't either part about it. But anyway, thank you both for your service.
Thank you,
You're
Richard.
welcome. Thank you.
And well, I was around.
Hopefully we can do
Thank
this
you
again.
for having us here.
Thank you for coming.
Hopefully we can
And
do this again.
if you need to contact the general, I'm sure there must be something on the screen somewhere. And
You got a top-notch crew working behind the scenes
yeah,
there.
they are. They're great. I think, like I said, I'm going into my 4th year now. And I've enjoyed it.
You do a good job, Rich.
Thank you.
You do a good service here.
And I'll be looking for more if you got any ideas for next month.
We're ready when you're ready.
Okay. Thank you for watching. Remember your veterans. Please at least say hello to them and say thank you. They really appreciate it. And the young ones today, really, let's give it to them. Let's say thank you to them and hope they're well and everything's fine. And because they come back in different situations. Anyway, thank you for watching Veterans Today, which is now the Dick Giroux Show. Thank you.